As soon as you said common sales mistakes, I immediately went to a lack of communication. How you can be the greatest salesperson on the planet.
Welcome to the Rethink Sales Show. My name is Derek Kelly. I am joined by Jim Shorkey. And Jim, for those who haven't watched an episode of ours before, you speak extemporaneously.
I do.
What that means is you have no notes. You don't know what we're talking about.
Nope.
It's not planned. And it's excellent for your brain as you're recovering from a stroke that you had.
From what I've read, yes. And that's not medical advice from what I've read. But in addition to that, when Derek's telling you I have no notes, if Derek were to call me last night, so we knew we were doing this today. He called me last night and says, Jim, these are the questions that I'm going to ask you. And so I have a chance to, first of all, I could write them down. So let's say I do. I write them down. I ponder them. I think about them. I think about my responses. I make it very clear to Derek that I don't want that. I want him to come in here and ask me the question. I don't want to have any previous knowledge about it. As a matter of fact, a very good friend of mine who should go unnamed, actually a car dealer, wants me to come to his dealership to speak to his salespeople about some ideas I have about selling. And I said, oh, you're my friend. Of course I will do that. But there's only one catch. I don't want to know what you want me to talk about. So imagine this. I'm unprepared. I'm going to get up in front of this group of salespeople and I'm going to talk about something that I'm not aware that I'm going to talk about. Okay, so I have to be very, very mentally engaged. And that's very good for the brain of a stroke recovery victim like I am. And again, it's not medical advice. But anyway, so I'm meeting with my good friend at 7:30 in the morning, and I think we're going live at 8 o'clock. I don't know, but I did make it clear to him that I want to get there early so that I can know exactly what he wants me to do. And that'll be the preparation stage, other than 38 years in the automobile business. Yes. So I guess I do have some preparation, right? But as far as what I'm going to say, I have no idea. And when I get there, I'm going to meet with this gentleman, good friend of mine. And he's going to say, here's what I want you to talk about. Yeah. And then I'm going to go to work.
Yeah. So Jim, I'm going to ask you about, the last two episodes, we talked about sales myth and you debunked some of them. And you actually said, no, actually some of these are totally valid. I want to go in actually a different direction this time and talk about common sales mistakes. Okay. So number one, what do you often see for each of these? So talk through your experience with each of these. Okay. Number one, not listening to the customer. Right. Is that a mistake?
Oh my God. I think as soon as you said common sales mistakes, I immediately went to a lack of communication. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so I used to train on this. I would tell my sales team that listening, active listening, it's called, is really important. Mm-hmm. And you can Google this. Do you want to Google it right now, Derek?
Yeah.
What is the percentage of communication that is nonverbal? So he's going to Google that. Nonverbal means there is no voice coming out other than the intonation of your voice, the tonality of your voice would be nonverbal communication. But that said, the words are communication, but they're not nonverbal.
Anywhere from 70 to 93%. So if we did an average, you'd get like an 80, 81.
Yeah. I used to use 40, 50%. That's enough. If 40 to 50% of your communication was nonverbal, that means you don't listen with your ears. You listen with your eyes. The eyes will give you so much information about the client, and you'll see it. It's so obvious. So when I talk to the salespeople, I would talk about nonverbal communication and listening with your ears and your eyes. You listen with both. And the biggest sales mistake in my world is talking too much. And so I trained on shut mouth, open ears, shut mouth, open eyes. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest mistake that we make, is that we are too busy trying to talk, make our point. And here's another big mistake that is made in sales with communication is the client is talking and we're already thinking about what we're going to say in response to what the customer's saying. That is not listening. You can't do it. You can't listen and think about what you're going to say at the same time. So you literally shut down your active listening. So we need to stop that and just listen, really listen intensively, wait till they're done and then respond. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And
let them make their point. Don't interrupt them. That really turns people off.
Here's another mistake that I've seen. I've seen people focus on features instead of benefit. Have you seen
Well, I think
that?
you need to do both. I think you need, obviously you need to do both, but the idea behind the feature is to show the customer why that feature is beneficial to them. But in order to do that, you've got to go back to the initial interview, which is to find out what the client truly wants and develop a list of the things that they really want that are really important to them. And then to also determine what their reasons why are. And why are you talking about safety when the client didn't bring that up at the very beginning? They're not concerned about that. They want to know how the radio works. They want to know about the air conditioning. They want to know about the third row seating. Let's get in that third row. Let's sit in it. Let's put the seatbelt on. Let's show them that we were listening and that this is a benefit to them. And so in the car parlance, those of you who are sales trainers out there and salespeople out there who have been trained, we talk about, I think in the day it was called a 7-point walk around. Don't do that. Don't do that. We don't need to do a walk around. We need to do we need to do a walk around, but not one that's prescripted. How could you do a prescripted walk around when you haven't met the client yet?
Yeah.
Don't do that. That is a huge mistake. Let's figure out what the client wants specifically, why they want it specifically, and then let's do a walk around that pertains to them. Your walk around that you learn from whomever, I'm not going to name names, it's BS. It's not good. And it turns people off, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't want to do a prescriptive walk around. Nonsense. Let's talk to the client.
Yeah.
They don't care about the motor. They've made it very clear. But we are supposed to do a hood and trunk presentation. That's what we're trained on. They don't care about the motor. Like, it's almost like, does it start? Does it run? What's the gas mileage? Okay, I'm good. I want to talk about the radio. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why are you opening the hood? Just open the hood. There's the motor. There's what that's pretty cool, right? Pretty neat. Close it and go to the trunk. They want to talk about the trunk.
Yeah.
So let's open the trunk. And to show them how roomy the trunk really is, you might get in it.
That's a worthwhile feature. Yeah. Yeah.
To say, hey, look how much room this is. I can actually get in this trunk. If you ever need to get rid of a body, no, I'm kidding. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's figure out what the client wants. Let's make our sales presentation customer-centered.
That's right.
Not sales trainer-centered.
Yes. All right. Common mistake number 3 of 5 is poorly qualifying the lead. What I mean by that is you're just not getting enough information about the person
Yeah.
to actually know how to serve them.
Yeah, I think we've covered that enough. My approach to qualifying is my first thing I do is I want to make sure that I capture the client's name because I'm not real good at remembering names.
Yeah.
So as a way, it's almost like an icebreaker. Let's role play with it right now. So Derek, you walk into Sherman, I introduce myself. Hi, Derek. My name's Jim Shorkey. And I don't know Derek. Hi, my name's Jim Shorkey. Your name?
Hey, my name's Derek Kelly. Nice to meet you, Jim.
Oh, it's great. Hey, Derek, can I ask you for a favor? Would you mind if I wrote your name down? I tend to forget names. I don't want to forget your name.
So it's Derek, Derek, Kelly, Kely. Yep.
Kely.
Yes.
Great. Okay, and here's my business card.
Thank you.
Okay, so now you got my name. Right now, and I want to make sure, double sure that we don't waste your time.
Yeah.
That's very important to me, to
thank
not
you.
waste your time.
I feel so cared for already, Jim.
So what I'd like to do, if it's okay with you, with your permission, I'd like to spend 5 minutes, no more than 5 minutes, to ask you some questions that I have to help me pick out the right car for you today.
Yeah.
And I want to be clear about this. We have literally 500 cars on the lot. And if I take a minute to show you each one, that's 500 minutes. Do you realize that's 8 hours? You don't want to spend 8 hours a day looking at cars, do you?
No.
And if we spend a minute looking at one car, that's not a lot of time. No. So what I like to do is to figure out which 1 or 10 would be the best ones to look at.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, I need to ask you a few questions. It takes no more than 5 to 10 minutes.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay. All right. So in this process that we call car, meaning buying the car, owning the car, driving the car, down the road, 10 years, whatever long you're going to keep the car, in this whole process, and again, buying, owning, driving, what is most important to you relative to your car relationship?
I would say for me, third row seating is important because I have quite a few kids. I have 3, right?
Isn't that wonderful?
So that's important to me, right? Being able to fit everybody. And once in a while, they have a friend come along. And so want to be able to.
You mind if I ask what your children's names are?
Yeah. So Josiah is 7. Mirabelle is 5. And then Ariel is 2.
Mind if I write those down?
Yeah.
Again, terrible on names.
Yeah.
And I'm going to repeat those names right now.
Yep.
Maribel, Josiah.
Ario. Yep.
Forgetting that one. Okay. And all right, wonderful. That's lovely. That is so lovely. I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah.
What is next most important to you?
I would say drivability, like in terms of I want it to turn tight. I don't want it to feel like I'm going all over the road while I'm driving. I want to, when I see roads in this, as it gets in Pennsylvania, I want to make sure we can be safe. And
Okay. As a way of translating that and describing that in more detail, would you say like tight drivability? You know, good handling, tight handling, tight braking, good acceleration.
Yeah.
So drivability would involve truly the best possible driving feel.
Yeah. I want to feel safe while on the road.
Okay.
Right.
Drivability. Okay. What's next most important to you?
I guess any just extra safety features like a backup camera, blind spot monitoring, parking assist, lane assist, those types of technology features would be probably fourth on my list.
Okay. So I'm writing all this stuff down, by the way. And what is next most important to you?
I would say after that, really, I mean, it's not a high priority, probably low priority to me, but just extra features like a sunroof or...
If possible.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. What's next most important to you?
I'd say lastly, leather interior is pretty important because we have kids and they spill stuff. And so we've had cloth seating before and I don't mind it, but you spill 1 cup of milk on it and it's kind of like getting this out. But leather seating, you just wipe it off. And
it seems like from what I'm going to put the leather down here, Derek, but it seems like everything is revolving around the family is what I'm hearing. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. And I didn't write anything down. If I did, I would, because I have to capture this. Okay. This is because I'm on stage and I'm trying to be attentive and active listening. And so I tend to gap out on them. I remember some of the things you said, but so if you wouldn't mind just repeating, because I'm going to give you the next phase of this qualifying.
Yeah. So let's see. We had safety, we had drivability. We had
let's go one at a time.
Third row seating.
Because I have it written down. Okay, that's what I'm saying. So I see it. I'm not going to ask you again. So this is not part of the plan. Derek, you mentioned as your number one priority is safety. Beyond the obvious, why is safety so important to you?
My children and protecting other people on the road, right? I don't want to cause an accident to any of my kids or my wife or my family or myself, but I also don't want to harm another person because then insurance claims and liabilities and court and I don't want to get into all that.
So probably a lot of it is safety to children.
Yeah.
But also avoiding accidents.
Right. Yes.
Which is also safety for them and for you and for the other people on the road.
Yeah.
Lovely. You mentioned drivability. Beyond the obvious, why is drivability so important to you?
I would say, honestly, just because I don't really want to have any accidents. I had one where I slid off the road one time, and if the car we had was a little bit maybe more all-wheel drive or had some better drivability features, it probably would have kept us more safe. And so that's the only accident I've ever had, but would rather not repeat it. So.
Right. Now, do you enjoy driving?
Yeah, I do.
And what do you like about driving the most?
I just enjoy... Back to my family again. Usually,
guys, watch what's happening here. See, I'm taking Derek off. We're done. I'm taking him off logic into emotion.
Yep.
And I'm capturing this.
Yeah.
So I do have a notepad, which I don't clearly have, but if I would, and probably we should do that maybe next time we do this because we've done this a couple times.
Yeah.
But I have to capture it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to capture that, and now I have my list. Okay. And I'm going to use that list very graphically and very detailed list to bring the car's features to Derek. So he wants to talk about safety. Should I be talking about the motor? Really?
I didn't mention it once.
Should I be talking about it? This is where we make our mistakes, sales trainers. We're teaching how to do a proper engine presentation. He doesn't care about that. And all you're doing is boring him or her. No. He wants to talk about safety. How many times does he need to talk about his children to where the light bulb goes off? We should focus on the children. Do you notice what I did? I know their names. So watch how I do this. So I pull, let's assume it's going to be an SUV or a van. What are we pulling up?
A van.
Okay, so we pull a van up and I say, Derek, tell me this. Where is Ariel going to sit in this van?
Definitely in the center, right? Because they say that's usually the safest spot.
See what I just did? I'm going to crush this guy, and I mean that kindly. There's no question. Okay, and where is Josiah going to sit?
He's the oldest, so he's probably going to sit on one of the sides, maybe in the back third row, just because.
So Josiah in the picture, don't I?
Yep.
Okay, and Mirabelle, where's Mirabelle going to sit?
Probably on the other side, right?
On the other side of the back or the middle seat?
Probably the middle would. I don't know. I guess it just depends on whatever's safest.
Right. What I'm doing here is I'm getting him emotionally involved in the discussion. And so Derek was asking me about qualifying. So now you know how I qualify the client, excuse me. And then I'm going to bring the vehicle and its features into his life and show him how this vehicle is going to provide value to his life. And how can I teach that as a process? I cannot.
Yeah.
Because I don't know Derek. He's not even here yet.
Right.
What I can teach my salespeople how to do a proper meet, hi, and greet, capture the name, make sure. Because by the way, if we talk about making the client comfortable, what do you think happens to the client when he can't remember your name? Did you ever think about this, salespeople?
Yeah.
This is really important.
I've been there before, Jim. It's
If you don't give the client your business card, they are going to forget your name. And they're going to be trying to think about what your name is. Oh,
while
Daryl,
answering your questions.
Donnie, Daryl, I know it's D. And now I'm trying to answer questions, trying to think about what his name is. And my armpits are dripping. I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah.
This is fact.
Yeah.
And so I'm in a little bit of a modified panic scene as a client, and my brain shuts down.
Yeah.
Because I don't like not remembering his name. So I could say, you know what, I forgot your name. What's your name again? But why don't we save the client that trouble and just give them our business card? And then let's write their name down, because if we don't remember their name, we're going to be going on all these different memory techniques and everything. The best memory technique is write their name down and give them your card. So I'm going to train the salespeople, and I am a sales trainer, on how to do a proper meet and greet. And then I'm going to train the salespeople on how to do a proper qualifying interview. And I'm not really a big fan of the qualifying. I don't like that word. I want to do an interview centered around wants and needs and reasons why. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to go get the right vehicle for the client, okay? The closest match to my list that I can. And then I'm going to present that product in the light of what he or she told me during that interview. And I'm going to go through a confirmation process of, do you think this third seat's going to work for Josiah?
Yeah.
Is there enough room, do you feel?
I think so.
And what about the safety of the middle row for Ariel? Do you think this is going to work? Have I satisfied that need, do you think?
Yeah.
And we talked about the airbag and how that works. And we talked about the anti-lock braking system. We talked about the backup camera, which this car does have. And we're going through all the stuff that he mentioned, that Derek mentioned. And so I keep going over the list and going over the list and keep confirming and reaffirming and et cetera. And so when we're all said and done, I can now say to Derek, I can ask Derek one more question. Derek, when you come in, here's what you told me. This is I'm going to go over the list right now. I'm at the car. Derek, is there anything else that you thought of in the meantime that's really important to you that you left off the list?
I can't think of a single thing, Jim.
So we've covered the list. Does this vehicle do what you want it to do pre-coming to the dealership? Have I picked the right vehicle?
Yeah. And you even thought about my kids and thought about where they're going to sit. You asked me good questions because I didn't think about, who's sitting where. I just thought, okay, I have 3 kids. I know we probably need something bigger than a car. I know vans are maybe a little more economical. So that's all I knew coming in.
So have I earned the right to ask you to buy the car today?
Yes, you have.
And when I do ask you to buy the car today, I'm going to do that with a lot of sincerity and have the list on my hand to say, we've satisfied all this, Derek. What, again, is there anything else that we left off? There was one more thing. Let's go see if we can resolve that.
Yeah.
But from there, I'm going to ask Derek to buy the car.
Yeah.
And I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, if I do sell Derek a car today, I'm very proud. I'm very happy. I've done him a favor. Do you realize how difficult it is to shop for a car? No matter when, it could be 1940, 1980, 2020, 2021. It's a challenging thing for the client.
Yeah.
But haven't I made it easy?
Yeah.
I've made it easy. And so not selling a car today, to me, that's my definition of being immoral.
Yeah.
Because Derek's here to buy a car. Yeah. And he wants to be safe and he wants to be reliable and he wants to be able to do things and go on vacation and whatnot. So I'm doing him a favor. This is not a high pressure sale. This is value.
Yes.
Meeting price. I'm creating value. I'm not selling price today.
Man, Jim,
I'm selling value.
You talked about the value of listening to the customer, of focusing on benefits and features that matter to the benefits of what the client wants.
Yeah, it's all about the client. Don't lose sight of that. At the Jim Shorkey Family Auto Group, our number one goal, is to love the customer. That's our number one goal. If we don't love our customers, we're not going to have any customers. So when I say love the customer, I do mean love them. Figuratively speaking, hug them, kiss them. We want to love on them. And the ultimate way that we can love on them is to show them a great deal of respect and ask them the right questions, engage in active listening. I talked about nonverbal communication. It's all there. You'll see it. I saw it in his face. I can see it. He's excited about what? You saw it. Derek is excited about one thing the most out of everything we talked about. He's excited about his family and primarily his children. That's what turns this customer on, this client on, is his children. Wouldn't it be smart as salespeople for us to find that out? Wouldn't it be smart as sales trainers to train our people on this idea versus the 7-point, 14-point, 27-point, whatever? Let's do it the client's way. And with that said, how could we possibly train on a walk-around when if we have 100 clients, there's going to be 100 different walk-arounds, certainly 50, because every single person has a different idea of what they want and need in a car, and their reasons why that make them emotional are going to vary from client to client. Yeah. So I want to train the salespeople, male and female, on how to communicate properly. Yeah. We listen with our eyes and we listen with our ears. And by the way, when we ask the customer permission to take notes, what are we really saying to the client? Let's see if you can answer this. This is extemporaneous, but I'm going to put you on the spot. When I say, would you mind if I wrote this down, Derek? And I'm not sure. And I start taking notes. What am I showing the client?
You're showing them that you care, that you want
exactly. To help them. And what kind of communication is that?
That's nonverbal communication.
Exactly. So I'm using nonverbal communication to make the point that I care. To make the point that the number one goal, I have a massive chill right now. I do. Pause. The number one goal of the Jim Shorkey Family Auto Group is to love the customer. That's the number one goal. Nothing else is in front of that one. Love the customer. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Guys, I have more questions for Jim on the next episode about other common sales mistakes. Guys, again, gang, 90% of you who watch this channel aren't subscribed. So please do us a favor, subscribe to the channel for the second part of this episode. And just like this content. When we get likes on Facebook and YouTube and the other platforms that you're seeing this on, it helps the algorithm say, hey, show this to other people. And I know so many of you, we just had a gentleman the other day say, hey, I love your podcast. It is raw. It is informative. It is raw.
But you forgot one detail. You didn't tell them how much it costs to subscribe to the channel.
Nothing.
You didn't tell them how much it costs to say they like it.
Nothing.
You didn't tell them how much it costs to say, to leave a comment.
Nothing.
And if you're looking at the larger good, the bigger good, world issues, when you do like, comment, and subscribe, we are manipulating the algorithm. And what happens is YouTube or Facebook or whatever the platform is, they will show this to more people. What's going to happen with that in mind? Who is going to be impacted? And what are they going to do with this information? But is there a person out there that's going to watch this message today, tomorrow, a year from today, tomorrow, that's going to say, this is life-changing? Yeah. This is life-changing.
And we've heard that time and time.
And because of this, I'm making changes in my sales, because it's the same things that made me a success in the automobile business, those same things are going to make me successful in my stroke recovery. Yes. It's all the same. It's about disciplines. So you don't know how this is going to impact going forward. So if you could please comment and subscribe, the world would be grateful. We'll be grateful for that. Thank you so much.